Hi, this is Josh Kulp. We are learning Daf Mem Bet of Masechet Kiddushin, and I wanted to go over, give a little bit of background information on the concept of shtut, of 1/6, that appears on Mem Bet Amud Bet in a section which begins with Rav Nachman talking about brothers that divide their father's property. They are treated as if they are purchasing it, one from the other, and the rules of 1/6 apply. And I just wanted to give some background information as to where that comes from. The Torah says, Lo tonu ish et achiv, a person shouldn't defraud one another. And in the 4th chapter of Bava Metzia, Mishnah Bava Metzia, the rabbis interpret this as over or undercharging, underpaying. I just wanted to make a couple comments about it. The rabbis, at least when it comes to goods, seem to think that there's an idea of things have set prices. They are living before Adam Smith wrote The Wealth of Nations, before the idea of capitalism emerged as a philosophical, economic idea. And they don't really have an idea of a free market. So something like wheat. Wheat is worth, 4 shekels a bushel. That's what it's worth. Okay, everybody knows that that's what it's worth, or other types of goods. I remember my grandmother of blessed memory, a big influence in my life. She would say, "Oh, a loaf of bread is not worth that," or "a movie is not worth that." What she really, I think, meant was, I grew up at a time when a loaf of bread cost a nickel and a movie cost 50 cents or whatever it was, and that's what it's worth. She didn't really have a concept of a free market, of supply and demand, or of inflation, for that matter. Although the rabbis do seem to understand that there is such a thing as inflation, but it probably works in a little different way than we think of it. So over or undercharging is charging too much for something, or paying too little. And a buyer or a seller, both the buyer or the seller, generally speaking, have a right to return the produce. Now, I should note that this only works for individuals selling things. If you're a merchant, a professional seller, you are responsible for knowing the value of your goods, and if you overcharge for them, you can be sued for the amount that you overcharge. But if you undercharge, that's your business. You lost out. And there are some exceptions, like land really has no absolute value, and there are a few other exceptions. So I think it's important to understand this concept that somebody can annul a sale or ask for that money in return. Sometimes the sources aren't all that clear. It's interesting when it comes to this very interesting comment about the shaliach, that if you sent a shaliach, then you might demand the perfect price. The idea sort of being like, look, we can assume that I would be willing to forgive a 1/6 myself. But that's only when I'm selling it myself. If I sell you something and I undercharge you for a 6, I might have just been giving you a little bargain. But if I sell something through an agent, I want exactly the right price. Sometimes when we have an agent doing something, we are more exacting with that agent than that we are if we're selling it ourselves. So it's an interesting piece here about the laws of shtut. Shtut comes from the word Aramaic shet, which is 6, like sheish. And if you want to learn more of it, you can look at Mishnah Bava Metzia, the 4th chapter. And if you want to really get further, you could look at some of the Gemara in Bava Metzia.